Hey guys, welcome to an OpenLM webinar. We'll be having a workshop today and we'll be seeing how to configure OpenLM. So if you don't have OpenLM already installed, I suggest to download the necessary installers and place them wherever is needed. Now, what are we going to talk about today? Today we'll talk about the configuration of the basic product of OpenLM, meaning that we'll see how you can set up OpenLM to monitor different license managers, and also how we can get a bit more out of the system if we install both OpenLM Broker and Agent. But let's dive right into it. I want to have a quick overview of the OpenLM system. Let's take a look at it. First of all, you got your license servers. You got maybe hundreds of license servers. Each one holds many different vendors. You can have MATLAB vendor, Autodesk, CATIA, and all these license servers are distributing licenses to end users who use those applications. Now, all you need to do is simply install the OpenLM Broker on there and install the OpenLM server on a network server, on a central network server, meaning that you'll have many OpenLM brokers, one on each license server, and all of them will transmit information to the central OpenLM server. Now, if you want to view the reports, you can do so with simply any device using any browser that's connected to the OpenLM server itself. You can see all the reports, all the different measures and aggregations that you need. Now, if you install the OpenLM Agent on the workstations themselves, then you can get some extra functionality. Now, it would be best to mention that OpenLM Server can connect also directly to the license server. It doesn't have to, it doesn't need the OpenLM Broker. The OpenLM Broker gives it a lot of benefits such as license expiry. It can tell you when the license will expire, such as denials, and many other features like data validation and so on. The agents as well are not mandatory, it's optional. If you want extra functionality, you want your users to be able to view the license status by themselves, to give them like an interface for it, then you can. You can install it, roll it out on the workstations themselves. But this is optional. Everything besides the OpenLM server is optional. So let's dive right into an installation of OpenLM. Just for me to show you how simple it is and how fast it is to configure a new license manager, to install OpenLM, and we'll try to do it in the span of this workshop. I'll stop to explain whatever I'm doing, and if you have any questions along the way, you can just use the GoToWebinar questions box. Just ask away, whatever you want, whatever you need, I'm here. I'll finish the sentence and I'll try to answer your question. Okay, so first of all, what is the first step? Well, we go to openlm.com. We go to the downloads page. And here we have a few options there that some clients get confused over, but what you need to download is this one, the OpenLM for Engineering Licensing, the on-premise version. Just click to download. The second thing that we'll need is the OpenLM Broker for Windows. We can click to download. Lastly, the OpenLM Agent, which sits on the workstations, to remind you. So the server, the broker, and the agent. Once we install them, we need to place them each into their designated machine, meaning that the OpenLM Broker I placed on my license server. This is my license server. The OpenLM server I installed on a central network server. And here is a workstation which I placed the active agent on. So where do we start? First of all, we install the OpenLM server on the central network server, meaning we'll install this part now. So we simply double click. We'll allow OpenLM to send updates, agree to the license terms and condition, and have OpenLM check for the latest version. We'll click Next, select where to install it, and simply click Install. Now, this is a very straightforward operation. You just click Next, Next. That's it. It starts installing. When it finishes, it will ask you for the license file. It will ask you for the OpenLM supplied license file. If you don't have one, you'll be able to register. But if you do have one, you got one from the OpenLM sales team, then you can simply select it. You browse and simply select it into the OpenLM installation. So right here you see I'm installing a trial version. Now we give out 30 days trial. The trial version has everything inside it, all the extensions all set up. You have I think 25 or 100 different users for you to play with. You can monitor 10 different license managers, 10 different vendors. So basically it's a full system. It's not full implementation because you don't install 100 licenses now, but it's enough to understand what OpenLM can do and its benefits. So okay, once the installation finishes, either I don't have an OpenLM license file, I can just register, and I'll get it by, if this is connected to the internet, so I'll just get it from there. But I already have an OpenLM license file, so I'll just browse, select the file, and click Next. Now you may notice that we have a few interface changes if you have any experience with OpenLM. The installer was streamlined. Now you can also get the broker from this installer and put it on the license manager. Lastly, you can also chat with support now from the installer itself. Okay, so let's close that up for now. And now let's go to the license server. So if we install the OpenLM server, now we'll install the OpenLM broker sitting on the license server. So going back there, I simply double click, just like the OpenLM server. Now, if I already have an instance, I can upgrade it. If I want to install a new one, I can install a new one. So click Agree, Next, Next, choose where you want it, then Next, and Next again. Now this will take anywhere between 10 to 30 seconds, something like that. And once it finishes, it will open up the broker interface, which will allow us to monitor license managers, to configure which license managers we want to monitor. Now keep in mind that there are two ways for setting up a new license manager in the broker. It can either be done automatically by the broker itself. The broker simply detects all the different license managers that there are on the server and configures them automatically, whatever it can. So enter the OpenLM server hostname. So our OpenLM server was installed on Win10 demo. Win10 demo. Let's try to connect. It's connected, and now the broker starts configuring itself. Now, if it's an RMS, a FlexLM, or DSLS license managers, well, then they are automatically detected. You can just click Detect here, and it will try to detect as best it can all the different files, all the different ports, and everything that the license manager is using. So this is what it's doing now. It's testing out the different ports, trying to find license output it recognizes. And once it's done, it will automatically configure everything, and all we'll need to do is simply click approve, restart broker, and that's it. So after testing all the ports, it asks us if we want to open up the OpenLM user interface, but we can just copy the link to it. And let's click close. So you see that it configured everything here. Now I'm not going to go over each step right now. I'm going to do that in a moment. But we see that it found everything. It found port 600, port 810. This is my Autodesk. This is my MATLAB. It found this license server, and it found the OpenLM server that we directed it to. So we'll simply need to click apply, restart, and now we'll need to go back to the OpenLM server. So we'll just open up our browser and paste the link that we got from the broker. It's the OpenLM server link. You can see that it points to Win10 demo, EasyAdmin. Now that means I can access it from anywhere that's connected, even from my machine if I want. So I can get it remotely, and I can get it to any PC I want, any workstation I want. Now you can of course define who can gets to see what inside OpenLM, but that's for a different webinar. Okay, so what did we do until now? Basically, we set up the OpenLM server, we set up the OpenLM broker. Now we just have to connect between them. So we set up the broker to send information to the server. We just need to receive it now. So let's open up the interface again, and we see lines here, red lines. Now this is another license manager sending me information, but these are the two I'm interested in. This port from this license server. So I'll simply approve. This is my MATLAB license server. Now I'll approve this one as well. This is my Autodesk license server. Now it will take anywhere between 2 to 5 minutes for the alert here to change, for the status to be green, for the quantity to get here, for the license file to get here, for everything. It takes anywhere between 2 to 5 minutes until it's fully configured. So while it's configuring itself, let's go and install the OpenLM Agent. Now we install the broker, the server, we install the broker, we connected between the two, we see that we're able to see, to view information on the user interface from our device. But now we'll install the OpenLM Agent on the workstations themselves. So let's open up a workstation. I have this workstation right here. You'll have to forgive me, it's not the fastest one, but it's one that I have. So we'll just click next, next, and it will automatically find one of those extensions. So it might find an extension, which is like a source API code that the agent can access for ArcGIS, for AutoCAD, for MATLAB, SolidWorks, ArcGIS Pro, Harmony, Kingdom, and Petra. We will not be using the Applications Manager at the moment, so we'll skip that. Click next, next, next. Now it might ask some permissions here, so you just click apply and approve the permissions. And that's it. Once it's done installing, you'll simply have to point it to the right OpenLM server. So it's Win10 demo, as we've seen with the broker. We can check connectivity, see that it works, and then click apply. And that's it. We're all set up. We installed and configured OpenLM to monitor 2 license managers in less than 15 minutes. It takes about, as you see, 10 minutes to get the OpenLM system up and running. It's really simple, really easy. Just click next, 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 and it's very instructive. Now, if you would like to know a bit more about it, then you can go to the OpenLM website and you can just type in a search, install server. Then you can get the how-to documentation, install OpenLM Server, and here it will lead you to everything else, how to install, then how to install the broker, the agent, how to configure OpenLM, all the reports, full documentation, whatever you need. So you can get it from there. Okay, now let's try to understand what it did. What did it actually do? So we will focus on the broker, then we'll focus on the server, then we'll focus on the agent. Because the structure itself is done. We installed everything wherever it needs to go. Now we'll take a deeper look into it. So we'll start with the broker on the license server. Now this broker, what did it find? Even if I delete it, let's say that I delete all these ports and I click detect. Now it will try to find all the different ports that are detectable, that spew out license output, and it automatically configures. But what does it configure? Let's give it a moment to finish and we'll go over it one by one, and you'll see the benefits of the broker as a result. Now I said that the broker allows you to see your license expiry dates, because license expiry is in the license file. That's a file located on the file system on the license server. So clicking on the port and expanding the advanced here, we see that it's reading our vendor supplied license file. This is our license file. We have an Autodesk license of 2017, 16, 15, and so on, and we've got one permanent license for it. So that's our license file. We also know the expiry date. You see that it's permanent, but if there was an expiry, it would be taken into the OpenLM system. Then OpenLM can notify you. It can tell you, hey, the license is about to expire. The feature is about to expire. Do something about it. So that is also only possible if you're using a broker. In here, we see that it's actually executing a command on the license manager and getting the license output. Then it parses all that license output. But what else does it do? It also gets the debug log. Now inside debug logs, we can find denials. So if you're not using a broker, you cannot see denials. Lastly, it also monitors your options file. So let's say that you have an options file, you have users inside, you have different rule system in the options file, in the FlexLM options file, and you want it to be incorporated into the OpenLM system. So it can be incorporated into the OpenLM system, and OpenLM allows you to edit the options file remotely using a very simple interface. But again, this is an extension for another webinar. So basically that's it. This is what it does. It allows us to get the expiry dates, an exact number of licenses from the license file. It allows us to get the license output from the license manager. It allows us to monitor log files, which give us the denials, and options file, which give us all the allocation rules, grouping, and added users you have there. Now that we understand what the broker does and how it can give you all the benefits that it does using all the different files. Now that means that OpenLM can also monitor that license manager directly. So if we open our OpenLM server up again, and we open up the OpenLM server configuration tool, So OpenLM Server. Now to remind you, this is the central server. We can also connect manually. So let's say that I am not using a broker. I can still type in all the different, the host name and the port and the credentials of that license manager and connect directly to that license manager. If before I was using a broker, unchecking that allows me to bypass the broker and connect directly. But again, this way you'll get only usage and license quantity. You won't get denials, you won't get license expiry, and so on. So this is really reserved for users who cannot install anything on the license manager, on the license server. Okay, so we talked about the installation process of OpenLM. We saw how the OpenLM server is installed, how the OpenLM broker, the agents. We configured the broker and the OpenLM server. So OpenLM will monitor a FlexLM license manager. We viewed the data that we have. And we understood a bit more about the OpenLM broker and also saw that the OpenLM server itself can query the license manager remotely. But we didn't talk about the agent yet. So what does the agent give us? Because we installed the OpenLM agent on a workstation right here. Now, as an end user, what does that give me? As an end user, I'll have this icon here where I can query license usage information as an end user. Meaning that I see, let's say I need MATLAB and I see that I have 3 available, but let's say I have 0 available, everybody's using, so I can simply click on that and I see that Boris is using it from this workstation. Then I could get his information details. Now he's not connected to my Active Directory yet because we just installed OpenLM. If we connect OpenLM to the Active Directory, then we'll be able to get his first name, last name, office, telephone, email, everything. And of course, the admin can decide who gets to see what in OpenLM. Now the second thing that it does, it allows you to get license availability notification. Now let's take an example. Let's say that you're an engineer. You came in the morning, you came into the office, you opened up your PC, you want to start working with AutoCAD, but you get denied. So what do you try and do? First of all, you try to get it again and again and again, right? Then you might talk to the license administrator, but basically you'll be wasting a lot of time because you didn't get the license. You'll try to get it again and again and again, and that's very wasteful. So the agent can notify you. Let's say that you got denied, you don't have to click it again. You got denied, so you go on to do other things. The agent notifies you. It pops up a little notification here saying that, hey, the license that you need, that's now freed up. You can try and use that if you want. So this way, users will first of all stop bugging the admin because they'll have power, they'll be empowered. And secondly, they can pretty much handle themselves. They'll know what they have, who is using it. They can figure out issues among themselves. They won't have to turn it to the licensed admin. Now, not to mention that the agent allows for using many different extensions. For example, actual usage, monitoring the idle time of a certain application, meaning that you opened the application, but you went on a meeting. Maybe you're on Facebook. Maybe you just opened the application, but you don't use it yet. You just open it because you want it there. So when you use it, when you want to use it, you'll have it. Meaning that, let's say that you hog the license, you hog the software license. So the agent can sense that you're idling, you're not using the application, and it simply closes the application outright. It saves it and closes. It saves the work and closes the application. Either saves and close or suspends and release the license in the background, depending on which product you're talking about, which extension you're talking about. But basically, the agent is also a platform for us to have many different extensions on there. Now, let me show you how to configure that. We saw that we simply installed the agent, but we didn't configure anything. How do we configure all that we've talked about? So we'll go to Start, Administration, and we can go to Agent Policy. Under Agent Policy, we have Available License Notification. That means that the user will get notified if he got denied. If the license he got denied from is free, of course. And that's pretty much it. I really don't want to overload you with information. Let's keep it at 30 minutes flat, just so you'll see how easy it is to install OpenLM, how simple it is to configure everything. Now, we made the installation process more streamlined, so it's much easier to install it now. It's just, you saw it, it's just a couple clicks away. 10 minutes, you got an OpenLM system up and running on your network. Now, if you would like any support, any help, any assistance while installing the OpenLM system, you can call us up. We have a dedicated support team. We work 24 hours a day, 6 days a week. Well, we have Saturdays off. You can call us up just by sending us an email to support@openlm.com. You can go over to our website, just click here, and you'll be able to access the online chat. You can just access the OpenLM support team using chat, or you can click Contact Us here and just pick a number and call us up. Now, I would like to hear from you guys. I would like to hear any questions you might have about the installation process. If it's a new installation process and you know the old one, a few comments might be in order. Whatever you can think of, go ahead, shoot. Now, before that, there's one thing that I want to talk about. The OpenLM Health Check is a service that we now offer. We go live with you. We check that all the OpenLM components are installed. We see that OpenLM is reporting valid information. We'll see that you have all the extensions that you purchased operational, because we've seen many different scenarios. We've seen users that purchased many extensions but don't use most of them, which is a shame. We've seen clients which have their whole system set up but not correctly. We've seen clients that have their system set up correctly but their data isn't valid. We have some clients that their data is valid, everything is okay, but they need a slip. They need some paper that says my OpenLM system is all set up, all operational, and approved by the OpenLM support team. So if you would like that, you would like a certificate that your OpenLM system is valid, and you have all the extensions that you need operational, then simply call us up or send an email to support@openlm.com or sales@openlm.com, and we'll be happy to help you. And now it's your turn. Ask any questions that you'd like, anything, go ahead. Just shoot whatever comes up to your mind. I see Josh is asking about Ssl connection. Now, Ssl connection is possible with OpenLM. It's fully supported. It's real easy. Let me show you. All you'll need to do, let's say that we're talking about the OpenLM Broker and OpenLM Server communication. Then let me show you. Just click under the OpenLM Server connectivity here. You just click on SSL. And on the OpenLM Server side, all you'll need to do is open up the server configuration tool under OpenLM, OpenLM Server, and there you can go to port settings, and this port, the broker port, you can click use SSL. But if you're not using SSL and don't have that configured, don't click it. It might cause issues. Yes, also OpenLM supports IIS, indeed. If you want to access the OpenLM interface using your Windows authentication IIS, then no problem. You can use your domain to access it. You just punch it into the OpenLM system, and that's it. Users can access using their own username, their own Windows authenticated username. And this is done by connecting to the Active Directory, of course. You get all the credentials, users' credentials from the Active Directory. We incorporate it into the OpenLM system, and that's it. Users can use those same credentials to access OpenLM. So yeah, fully supported. IIS, Windows authentication, fully supported indeed. Okay, I have a question here. What about the router? So the router itself currently is not in any webinar. If you would like a bit more details on it, then let me just direct you in the right direction, because we do have tutorials on it and video tutorials on it. We just don't have webinars on it. So if you go to the OpenLM website, you just click here on the search button and just type in router. Then search for the HT, the how-to. How-to documentation will always have some kind of tutorial video and a step-by-step installation process right here below, of course, with full documentation. So if we're talking about the router, so just go to the how-to documentation of the router, and you'll get a video here showing exactly what you need to do in order to configure the router. It's also shown here. If you need extra support with the router, then you can call us up. Just let us know. Send us an email to support@openlm.com. But I think that this will pretty much cover it, unless you're not licensed for it. So you can ask sales for an evaluation license for it, and then you can just set that up. It's really simple. It's set up in about 5 to 10 minutes. Real simple, real easy. I suggest you try this out, try this documentation and this video. But if you need help, we're here for you, no problem. Wonderful, happy to help. Okay, I see that almost everyone has left. So to those of you who are still here, Daniel, Alexei, Toshi, thank you very much. And I hope to see you in the next webinar. Bye.